Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm your host, Daya Naef, and today we have Jon Chen as our guest. I'm so excited to have Jon here.
Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
Very excited to be here. So you must be in California if you're saying good morning instead of good afternoon.
I'm in Boston.
You're in Boston. Okay. I know sometimes you're in California as well.
Yep.
So today we're in Boston.
Headed there next week.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Jon Chen, living in Boston, been here for about 20 years, but grew up in California. So I split my time and my business between the coasts. I'm a business coach. I help CEOs and their leadership teams unlock the potential of their companies through a combination of strategy, a leadership team, and leadership development. And more importantly, the differentiator is building a culture that people feel empowered and love to work in, because that's, at the end of the day, the most important competitive advantage for companies. And I come from years of consulting to Fortune 200 companies and then starting 6 startups of my own. And what I love doing now is just helping people bring their visions to life, bring audacious visions to life, achieve what they want out of their company without killing themselves.
Wonderful. And I know from a prior conversation, you talk about systems and soul of the organization. Can you share more about that?
Well, there are a lot of coaches out there, right? And coaching is important. People are finding it more and more useful and tapping into it. And frankly, coaching, a lot of different types of coaches. And there's a lot of people there are a lot of great systems out there, things that are built upon decades of learnings from business, starting with the Rockefeller habits to scaling up to traction, EOI. However, what's missing sometimes in some of those is a focus on the people. The most important thing for growth of a company is actually empowerment of the people. Culture beats strategy any day. Top performing cultures outperform bottom tier cultures by over 200%. So system and soul is something that I found about a year ago and brought into my practice, because they have this approach. I don't call it just a system, because it is system and soul. It brings the best of the works and systems that we just talked about, and the best of the works that people are focusing on: culture and leadership, people development, taking care of your people. So from people like Simon Sinek and Patrick Lencioni and, Brene Brown. So it's the only sort of framework that combines both. And for me, it's really important. I've always valued culture and people. I learned that in my first company that I worked for, who won awards for their culture. And that's what I bring to my clients, is creating places that people love to work and are empowered.
Some people don't take the culture seriously. They do a little lip service to it, maybe do a few surveys, but really digging into that, I've heard that culture eats strategy for breakfast, something like that. We've seen definitely some really bad situations where culture changed or culture was not strong enough and really affected the business. What's your favorite business to work with? Give us a success story.
One of the things I do is I love learning about businesses, connect with my clients and understanding their vision and helping bring it to life. Like, that's what I've always loved doing, is bringing things to life. A client I'll talk about, I guess, which is a fun story recently, it was a breakfast sandwich chain here in Boston. And they had kind of grown it to about 5 million, but sort of plateaued, and started doing different things. They built a pizza shop, they built a bakery, and they're starting to see their margins erode. And they brought me in to help them focus. The first day I start off with just, okay, let's figure out roles and responsibilities. You got a team here, you guys clear on who's doing what. I'd forgotten that the two of them, the two founders, actually divorced. And so I walked in a situation where they were butting heads, like the Democrats and the Republicans. The most junior person in the team thought that he was the controller, but he realized by the end of the first day, he's actually the chief operating officer. And the chief operating officer realized that he was actually really just responsible for the stores, which is still important. By the end of the third day, this now COO actually became the CEO, and the two fighting pair stepped out of the day-to-day, which is actually the right thing. Everybody's excited, happy about it. They've kind of cleared some of the barriers from the company being able to grow. And the founder said to me afterwards, I don't know if I can say this in the podcast, you unfucked my business. But you unfucked my business, not only from the people perspective, but we gave them a clear vision for moving forward. One of the things I do with clients is make sure you're very, very clear on where you're going. Oftentimes people have really long paragraphs of a vision statement that actually don't say much about what makes you unique. Their vision statement, or as I call it, a destination statement, is now, we're going to put 10 million smiles on people's faces because our breakfast can make or break your day. So it's got a couple attributes of a great vision, right? Number one, it's clear. You know what you're doing. You'll know when you get there. It's concise. And more importantly, talks about the impact that your company is making to the world. It's about your customers and your people that can engage with, that's impacting people. It's not about your revenue or your exit strategy and whatnot. So working with them, they've got clarity now. They're moving forward well. They're starting to clear up the debts. And that's a fun sort of like story and a great testimonial, of course. I've thought about using that as my tagline, but may not be appropriate in all circumstances.
I like it though. I'll have to see about the edits. I'll have to ask approval or.
You can just bleep it out.
And you and I share a love of coffee. I've got my big mug right here, and you got
Mine here.
You also worked with a coffee company at one point. I saw that on your dossier. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that was a situation where there's an MIT engineer who invented a technology that could rapidly cool coffee. He had a small little product with maybe $80,000 of revenue. It wasn't a huge market opportunity. Product wasn't very, high priced. And they were looking for a new CEO. So I came in and took a look at technology and actually spent some time consulting with them to create a new business model for them. Had the opportunity to fundamentally change the way that coffee works. And I actually came on board as a CEO and ran the company for a period of time. We were the first company able to bottle coffee cold in a can. So if you think about it, coffee is I don't know how you made your coffee this morning, but it's the only drink you kind of have to make yourself to make it good. Or like if you go to a coffee shop and you get pour over, like it takes forever. Mm-hmm. Well, we're able to take pour over quality coffee and put it in the can. These are actually 3 of our cans that I still have here from when we launched the business. So I led that team, put a strategy together to be able to fundamentally change coffee. And a few months after launching, Food and Wine named us their favorite way to drink coffee. And we were in Whole Foods within a couple of months after that, which is really unheard of. It takes years to get into Whole Foods usually. And so that's a project I had a ton of fun on. It's coffee. But also, we got a lot done in a very short period of time. And that's because of some of the tools I've learned over the years to be able to really focus a team and get them focused on a mission. I was able to accomplish that pretty quickly, and I had a great team.
It's wonderful. Yeah, I'm hearing focus come up in the conversation quite a bit. And when you stay focused on something, that makes a lot of great strides. And so personally, it will free up a little bit of time for you for free time as well. So what do you do in your free time?
I probably spend too much time these days on TV because I've got kids at home and I can't really go out much. But I try to work out 3 times a week and stay healthy with CrossFit, skiing. Just picked up a little bit more pickleball. I used to be a tennis player and still play that, but pickleball, something else. And we kind of talked about this. I am a musician. I played in an 80s cover band a few years ago, which you can't tell, but the rest of this room is surrounded by a music studio that I don't get to use often enough.
I'm in here in my art studio / living area / office, and have a few pieces of work behind me, and you as well. We came to show our true colors here today on the podcast. I love it that people work with the people they know, and a very different feel, like you as a coach as well. People say, oh, are you like so-and-so? And I'm like, similar idea and whatever, but totally different personality. And they're like, oh, we can totally tell. So I get that from you as well. So you also, let's see, you mentioned a few things too about education, nonprofits. So being a board member as well. Can you share a little bit about that?
I've served on a number of different boards for nonprofits. Starting off, my first board opportunity was with the school that my kids are at, right? And helping that school grow. We were at a point in time where we were significantly in debt, right? And so as member of the board, member of the strategic planning committee, kind of looked at how do we get ourselves out of debt and go to the school. That was probably 10, 15 years ago. What's exciting is that we were in this incredible building in the Back Bay of Boston, which is really expensive. And they actually just bought the building last year, which is great, or earlier this year, which is really exciting because it's a big, historic building in Boston. So the school is doing really well. And I like to say that what I did helped get it on the best position to be able to move forward and be successful now. And so continue to do that with a number of schools. I do nonprofit board work with faith-based institutions also, helping them grow and have a better impact and focus, and have a lot of success there too, helping those kinds of organizations focus and scale. And also done some board work for startups. I was a startup guy, I think I may have mentioned, done sort of 6 startups of my own, either as that CEO or COO and helping somebody scale, or as a founder myself, but also just helping other companies scale. It's what I love to do. I love, like I said earlier, to bring visions to life. If people want to make an impact, how do I help them be able to make the best company possible that has the greatest impact possible?
Love it. Absolutely love it. So how do people find you?
Well, the best way is just drop me an email. And my email address, Jon, no H, at bluetidecatalysts.com. Blue tide comes from a phenomenon in the ocean where there's a high growth of algae and the ocean actually glows blue at night. It becomes luminescent. I picked that name because what I do is help people grow, be the rare ones that actually grow and succeed, like you talked about earlier. Like very few build the right culture, build that team. And it's a rare phenomenon, actually, in my experience. And so I wanted something that represented that, that I catalyze that growth for companies.
Love, wonderful. And that will be in the show notes to all of our listeners. And I just want to thank Jon for coming on the show today. Again, this is the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef. Please stay tuned. We have more episodes to come.
Thank you, Dave.